into the next realm.
Into the next dimension.
Next dimension.
I'm prepared to blast off into the next dimension with you, Tommy. Michael.
Walter, you need to Walter, you need to blast off the next dimension, Walter.
I'll offer you a generous proposal, the one that you cannot refuse. I will blast you into the next dimension.
I will blast you.
I'll blow you into the next dimension.
I will guarantee a man comes in and kills you.
I will fucking end your life.
There we go.
I will make sure that a man comes in and kills him.
Very violently, very, very violently, bloodshed.
You want to hear more controversial gaming takes?
Oh,
sure.
Do I?
Shadow of the Colossus is a shitty game nobody should be wasting their time on.
I find it's just more kind of overrated, really. It's not terrible, but like people really try and drum it up like it's the best game of all time, and it's like it's fine. It has a lot of growing pains. I just don't see the appeal of calling it like.
I don't think it has a single redeeming quality. I mean, think about it. It's a lot like Death.
Yeah, we watched a video where a guy was comparing it to Death Stranding, and that was his basis. Like that was his argument.
Really?
I'm just like, he's like, how can you like this game if you it's the same breath as talking about how boring and clunky Death Stranding is? And all I'm thinking is like, dude, this is like politics where people will just put words in everyone's mouth, and that's just how they actually argue.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of people will perceive that game, is because a lot of people just perceive like how they feel about games based on reviewers, which is nothing new. But when reviewers get very volatile, and there's a lot more commonality to just have it be like, oh, I'm just gonna outright say, like, this one game everyone praises, it's not as good as you think. Watch my 2-hour essay on how I think this game everyone praises is hot garbage.
And I'll just go ahead and say right now, I am not saying that Symphony of the Night is hot garbage. I'm just saying it kind of perturbed me particularly.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's overhyped, overrated, overloved. Like fucking the game.
Overloved.
I've heard that term before. I've literally heard that term before. Some people think like, oh, like it's a little overloved. You know, this game doesn't deserve all the praise it gets. And like, bro, like, there's a reason why people like call these like certain games like this is one of the best games I've ever played. It's subjective. And yeah, like, again, like, awards and all that stuff about, like, oh, this is the best game of all time, that's subjective. Doesn't matter if they win a fucking award for it, it's still subjective based on the person. But it's being like, is this game even worthy of praise in the first place? I'm like, look, if it's not a hot mess of a game that wastes your time and people are just conditioned to play it, if it's a game that's just competent enough for what it's doing. Because how I'll even say, as much as I don't like Last of Us 2 and all that with its production, I've heard it's at least a fairly decent game and people enjoy it. And like, if that's the case, then fine. Like, you know, people enjoyed it.
That's a funny
topic. I know people
topic.
enjoy it. See, this guy bought it for $10 after refusing to buy Cuphead for $13.
Yeah, but like when I was looking at like little clips that people had captured of The Last of Us 2, like on the PlayStation Store.
I mean, like mechanically, it's probably a fantastic game to
play. I was looking at it, and I'm like people talk about how great like the stealth and like the shooting and like the scavenging and stuff is, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, if you've only ever played a Sony exclusive game from the last 2 generations, if you've ever played any other game where you did anything that was like more dedicated to any of these individual things, you've played a game with better gameplay.
Yeah, you want a better stealth game, play Splinter Cell.
No. If you want a better stealth game, play one of the later Splinter Cells, I guess. Well,
yeah, play Splinter Cell Blacklist.
2. No, that's the one that's got the people don't like, I think.
That's the one that's got the co-op.
I mean, it might be good, but
you know what's actually...
That last one was apparently just not as good, but I don't know.
I guess this might be a bit of a gaming hot take, but apparently a lot of people really just fucking hate co-op in games ever.
Yeah, a lot of games.
It's like very common.
Co-op.
Well, it's like common in the gaming community that people just hate it, and I was like, I think it's fun.
I think it's good. I think when you... I think, like... part of the reason people don't like it is because the mandate of having co-op in a game has ruined a lot of games. Not because of the actual mode, but because they had to spend resources on it.
Or they've had to
rebuild.
They had to build games where like it could be played with like multiple people on top of one person.
And games where you have to like force people to do multiplayer, where like that kind of wasn't what they.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's still some pretty good games that like rely on like required dedicated multiplayer because they're built around it. Like that game that won the Game Award like last year, fucking It Takes Two. That's a phenomenal game, I've heard. And like it's a game entirely built around being co-op because it is built to be mindful and is required to at least have one other person. And
so what counts as a hot take when it's just your opinion that disagrees with something, or when you're trying to assert something objectively?
It's usually when your opinion is something that like may not be as common, but there's a lot of hot takes that people like agree with, so it's not really that hot of a take. Like,
because I'm just saying I like
hot
it.
takes means an opinion that like if you said it in front of a room of the general public,
there'd be a lot of discourse.
They would get loud. Or they would all gasp.
All right, everyone in the room, not this room, but everyone in the virtual room of listening in this space, if you are watching this video, I like Resident Evil 5, and I would say it's my favorite Resident Evil game.
I have no opinion on it because I have not played.
I'll make people more angry. I don't like Revelations, and I actually think it is objectively a not as good game. Maybe if you're playing it on the console ports. I can't speak for the 3DS version, but the console port sucks ass. You play it on PC, you play it on 3DS, or you don't play it at all. There, they gone? Did they leave?
I do. When we were playing Revelations on stream, and I had always thought it was a decent game, and I had a decent time with it. But I think just like over time, like
get that 100 coins.
My standards for like what I enjoy, or actually just what I enjoy, has changed, and I'm like, no, this is a game that's just annoying, like pretty consistently, and shooting enemies is not fun in it, and inventory management isn't fun in it because it's not like
there's not even inventory management.
Yeah, it's like,
is there?
No, I guess not. It's just ammo.
Hey, you know what?
Upgrades
Resident Evil
fun.
5 has more inventory management than Revelations. That's a yeah.
That is a statement.
that is a take. I mean, again, I have no real opinions on this because I've not played a Resident Evil game.
It's just
I've
that
watched y'all play Resident Evil.
When Resident Evil Revelations came out, it was like a big thing to talk about how Revelations fixed a lot of the shortcomings that 5 had while 5 was like considered to be ruining the franchise. So they were like they were treating
came out, and then I heard like everyone was like, oh boy.
Well, they were treating Revelations as like a way of saying that Capcom still had a awareness of what Resident Evil as a franchise was, and I understand that, but still misses some marks for me. Resident Evil, you know what? Another gaming hot take. Resident Evil 6 is fun.
My hot.
Seen 2 more coins.
Well, my not so hot take is that Resident Evil 6 should be fun, but absolutely is not because the levels suck ass and the enemies suck ass.
Gaming hot take.
They made a decent gameplay, and it feels like they like it's. I mean, it's not intentional. But it feels like they intentionally made the game around it as unfun as possible with good gameplay. And then they also added, it feels like at the end, like on their way out of the burning building, they threw some grenades in, and those grenades were your limited ability to do the melee for more than like 5 seconds before you run out and get tired. And the fact that there's no fucking ammo or healing items in the fucking game.
Yeah.
We were playing on professional though. That's why there was no healing a lot.
Yeah, but the ammo problem is like pretty constant in that game, which is weird because it's trying to be Call of Duty, which gives you 500 bullets all the time.
Well, that is also just Chris's campaign, because I will admit I have not finished Leon's.
Well, I would just say like, I mean, yeah, like the gameplay of 6, like they had something going on there, like it was really cool, but like the fact that they give you that limited melee and the fact that they barely give you any fucking ammo kind of just ruins the fun that you should be having. you know?
Yeah, because I don't know why. I don't know why they give you a game where like your main mode of defense has like such a limit.
Connor, you and me should play Resident Evil 5 on the channel. You and me, buddy.
Didn't you guys already play Resident Evil 5 on this channel?
No, we played Resident Evil 6. We played one of the campaigns.
that was 6. Okay. I mean, if we had more time, yeah, because I've never played a Resident Evil. I just watched you guys play it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it, but I've not played it myself.
It's epic. It's kind of funny because I didn't really.
I mean, I watched y'all guys stream Resident Evil 8. That was fun.
I only really interacted with Resident Evil.
I still remember the bit I did where you see Chris for the first time. Like, oh, it's Christopher Robin.
Sorry.
And then Josh immediately follows up with a vaguely racist joke.
Yeah, I only ever interacted with 7, 2 Remake, and 5 before I met DJ. And shocker, but I thought 5 was the most fun. But I also hadn't had an experience playing Resident Evil, which is why I probably didn't like Resident Evil 2 as much. Remake. But I'd say 2 Remake is probably better than 3 Remake.
Yeah, because I remember hearing, like, I was wondering why people didn't like the 3 Remake, and I found out it's because it was supposed to be a different game entirely. They just got, like, haphazardly made into a Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Do you know that Devil May Cry 5 was made in the RE engine?
Oh, yeah.
That's a cool engine.
Oh, yeah, so is Monster Hunter World and Rise.
I thought you were going to say, so is Mario.
Oh yeah, we were looking at Capcom's self-reported best-selling games, and Monster Hunter is killing it.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think it's because I know Rise used to be Switch exclusive. The moment it went to PC and other consoles, like it ballooned in popularity.
Oh yeah,
Rise is
really,
like in the top 5 of their best-selling games ever already.
That was something.
I mean, it was already out on Switch, but I doubt it sold like. But then again, 3 and 4 were also Nintendo exclusive, so.
Yeah,
that was
Which
really
is weird. They started on PS2. I don't know why they've done that.
Where it's just Nintendo exclusive. What? I have no idea what the fuck was that.
That was a really sad thing I saw was Resident Evil 5 used to be #1, and then Monster Hunter Rise made it #2, which is fair because it's Monster Hunter Rise. But apparently since then it's gone down to 6. Because what games took over 2 through 5? Resident Evil 2 Remake, was it?
Well, yeah, RE2 Remake sold really well.
I don't think it was Resident Evil 8 or 7. They were both below 5. Oh yeah, but that was the biggest thing. As much as
all the games that surpassed Resident Evil 5 weren't Resident Evil games, I don't think.
Yeah, it was just like
except maybe Resident Evil 7.
Street Fighter 2, maybe Street Fighter.
No,
5?
Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter has not outsold any
really?
of those. Street Fighter 2 still in like
all
the top
Monster
10.
Hunter then?
Yeah, it was all Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster
and
Hunter's really popular.
Yeah, I think it was mostly just Monster Hunter.
So Monster Hunter took over every top 5 position? We see, you know, the thing though is like as much as I argue for 5, and as much as I'll try to be like I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but I guess a voice of reason that offers a different opinion on 4. It was still really weird to me that 4 was nowhere near like even top 15.
Well, yeah, that is surprising because of how many versions there are of that game, and they're even now giving it the remake treatment.
It was really odd that it wasn't top 10 to me.
Yeah, because I'm like, with how many versions that came out of it, like I'm surprised it's not.
Here's the thing: the reason it's not in the top 5 is because
I said top 10, DJ.
Well, the reason it's not in the top 5 is just because
would it be in the top 5?
The way they report it is based on different versions. So the GameCube and PS2 versions are separated from each other. Then the PC version is somewhere. Then there's the remade PC version that came out around the same time the PS3 and 360 versions came out, and that's also separate. And then so is the current console port. And the current PC port is that one that I just mentioned. So it's like and then there's the Switch port, which I don't know where that is either, because that was released at a different time. So none of them are listed together. Meanwhile, Resident Evil 7 is their second best-selling game because they listed every single version. It's the same game.
Well, didn't you do the math? And Resident Evil 4 was still
Resident Evil 4 was over 10 million, and Resident Evil 7 Number 2 is 11.3. Now I think Resident Evil 5 still would have sold the most if you counted the different versions, because now that's been separated too. The version that's so high is the PS3 and 360 version.
But where does Resident Evil 7 rank?
One was like 5 million. Resident Evil 7's number 2. So
number 2?
Their best-selling game ever, according to them, that they count as just one game, is Monster Hunter World, and then number 2 is Resident Evil 7, and then number 3 is Monster Hunter Rise, and then number 4 is Resident Evil 2, and number 5 is Monster Hunter World's Iceborne expansion, which I don't know why that's counted as a separate game.
Because they sell it separately, and apparently the expansion's big enough to be like a whole own game.
And then number 6 is Resident Evil 5 for the PS3 and 360.
Well, in your own time, you should do the math on all of them and put it together. Put a list on screen of the top 10, according to the math done. Thank you, DJ.
I would have to go through every single game that they've ever sold.
Exactly.
You'll do that.
You'll do that.
You'll do it.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird that they split it up like that. Like, Monster Hunter wouldn't occupy so many slots but it would be
Is it by console generation?
All over the top. Sometimes.
All right, that's Wet Dry World done. Is the mountain next?
Yeah.
I think it's like different versions of the game that are like
Chris,
actually
all right,
different
Chris, your turn.
functionally.
Hit this shit.
Like technically, I understand there are differences between the GameCube and PS2 versions of Resident Evil 4.
Hello,
There's extra modes
it
added.
is me, Mario.
The controls are different, obviously.
I'm going to jump off the fucking mountain.
PS3 versions are remastered.
I know this is almost 7. Do we want to like break for dinner at some point?
Well, we could just go beat the game.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, I forgot you can do that.
Whoa.
Skip the slide entirely.
Oh, is this just the ice level, but different?
Somewhat, but you're going up the mountain. I mean, if we
Let's
want
get to 90 stars. Let's do 90 stars in the main series. And then
You
we
can
do, like, a
90s.
bonus.
Yeah, then we do just a bonus episode getting all 120. Or just have the series just keep going. Like, just have it be like the episode 12 finale question mark, and then it's like, oh yeah, this ain't over yet.
Well, I was thinking we were gonna do I wanted to do a video where we kind of reviewed 2022, you know, because like it's the end of the year. And like whenever Josh is available for that, which actually he might be calling his girlfriend like right now, so
I think he is. I've heard him scream a few times.
but I mean, if it's only 7
Wanna play the
o'clock,
game.
I mean, what's stopping us from, you know, recording that video at midnight, you know, having an early New Year celebration with some popping wine, celebrating a good year of videos. What am I doing again? For some reason I was skipping.
Top of the mountain.
I thought I was like skipping everything.
Yeah, you're going to the top of the mountain.
This is the slide, by
Has
the
a
way.
monkey
I'll
face.
try to jiggle it so you can see it.
Oh no, that's not the slide. It's later up.
What's this then?
It's just a random piece of geometry.
Oh,
There's a
See,
wall.
that's the slide.
this is see jiggles. That's the slide. I'll do that for the 100
Honestly,
coins.
that's still kind of impressive, technically, the fact that there's like,
Jiggle jiggle.
yeah, like, and it's like based on where you are compared to like the actual sprite.
What if I just jump down to the star? What's stopping me?
I mean, you could do that. I think that's what you're supposed to do, actually, for that star. You just jump into it.
Let's just jump into it.
I think there's platforms that spawn there.
I don't think so. I don't remember platforms in front of that waterfall.
You gotta talk to the monkey and then he takes him down. What do we want the final star to be then, if this is where we're calling it?
Just this, and then we just do Bowser's.
Well, I mean, like, scale the mountain, or like...
Yeah, scale the mountain.
The red coins, I could just get that one, like, right now, actually.
If you have an impressive trick for that one, go ahead, but I just say scale the mountain.
Actually, I can't get that one from here. I gotta go around.
Yeah, I got the cannon.
Let's end off on an impressive trick that'll kill me, and we'll take 20 more minutes to do this.
Oh, goody, I want to eat, but I guess not. I guess we're going to have to wait for Chris to do his funny strat.
We still gotta fight Bowser.
Yeah,
Bowser's
and I call
super
dibs on
strong.
that. I call dibs on that, by the way.
Alrighty.
Because you guys fought the other Bowsers.
Goodbye, fella.
Fucking idiot.
Piece of fucking idiot. Eat shit immediately.
Actually, can you just long jump to that mushroom?
Actually, wait. Can we have the last star just be the red coin star in Bowser's? Because there's like one last red coin star in that Bowser. You want to just do that instead?
Wait a minute. I can't do that yet. I was gonna kill myself, but then I realized I'd ruin it because I have to have 64 lives. So now I gotta go get a 65th live and then kill myself. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, we have to go out with a bang, dude. And by that I mean I'm gonna bang this monkey. Fuck.
Bang this monkey. Fuck.
Where is the next one up?
I have no idea.
Oh, there it is.
It's just a star.
Alright.
Sing with me, sing for the years, sing for the laughter, sing. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for us to beat Mario 64 on the Nintendo, the 64.
Here's some more gaming
PC.
hot takes. I've talked to DJ about this before. It just really irks me when anyone says anything about a video game ever. No, I was saying whenever anyone describes a video game as being a masterpiece, it always has really bothered me. Because I just can't believe that any certain game is the game of all games, you know?
Yeah, it's a very subjective take.
Oh, shit,
Almost
fuck.
got it.
Fucking shit, fuck, fuck. Fuckity, fuck,
No,
fuck.
no, no. Oh, well, we're gonna still clip through this door anyway.
Did you say you were gonna poop through the door?
Just gonna clip through this anyway.
What's another gaming hot? Okay, you know what? Actually,
But
people.
the masterpiece thing was one I didn't want to like have something because like yeah, again like games are subjective. So like trying to claim what game is the definitive.
I mean, calling something a
game.
masterpiece, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah.
I think you should kill yourself.
All right.
I think it's just a very.
I think
I think
In
it's just a
general,
very
like
subjective
calling something a
take.
masterpiece, I mean, that's just saying like something like really moves you, and you think it would move. Like, you think it's timeless. You like it's basically giving it several compliments in one, but it's not necessarily like something that you're like
Okay,
trying
yeah,
to
it's not
say
I
is
disagree.
definitely objective.
I disagree that a masterpiece is something that can also be flawed.
Wait, this guy.
I think a masterpiece would have to be
star.
describing something close to flawed or close to unflawed.
like even just in the word.
No,
like,
no, 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 no! I'm not
masterpiece.
taking that star. We're getting the 90th star.
Like that's not
in here.
saying something is perfect. Like if you say something is perfect,
a
you
masterpiece,
just say
but
it's
that's usually what it's
perfection.
been connotated with.
No, it's one of the greats. Is a masterpiece of its kind.
Yeah.
But to say it's the greatest of all the other ones.
Well, if you say it's the greatest, that's
Wow,
that's
off to an
still not
amazing start.
perfect. There's no such thing.
But then one of the greats of its is like saying that it's this one that's better than all the rest. But then it could be interpreted
well,
that
it's
others.
not the great of like it's not the masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. You know.
But
DJ also,
even if you're
DJ also
choosing,
asked me-
like-
edit that first death out because that was just super fucking stupid.
Even if you're choosing
my
like
dignity's in shambles.
Hey
right
guys, you
now.
want to see that again? There it is.
even if you're choosing
What about now? Upside down?
like if you choose like three
Backwards?
Side up,
masterpieces,
just fucking give it all sorts of VFX MLG countdown.
even if you're
144p?
choosing like three things to be a masterpiece, it's like, well then no one of them is a masterpiece over the other. But
And, like-
what makes those three masterpieces over other things that
Something
somebody else
being a
could interpret?
masterpiece, it depends on like what you're talking about. Like, are you talking about a masterpiece? Like, is it an artist's masterpiece? Like, is it their
Like what
their
makes a
creme de la
masterpiece?
creme? They're like their best.
You know what?
I mean, that
I
has
take
its
it
own
back.
word, but like,
There are masterpieces of film and paintings. I don't think there's a masterpiece of a video game. But I think there could be.
I think it's
that's
doable, but again, I think that
that's that's similar to like when people say that video games aren't art. It's just like I just don't I don't
Well,
agree
well,
with
see,
that.
the
Even
thing
in the
is,
early
right-
days, like there were I think Myst was a masterpiece. That's why they call it Myst Masterpiece Edition.
Yeah. I think
Like-
I think the main thing about it is that like
I think,
the
like,
standards for like a masterpiece in gaming.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
me.
Well, one thing I'll say is right.
The
Like,
original Super Mario Brothers for me.
I'm not
is a
saying games
masterpiece.
can't be artful.
Maybe I
or
don't
that
know.
games.
I'd have to think about it, but
The problem with the whole games are art
Mario Bros. 3,
conversation is I used to agree with. I used to be like, yeah, it is important that Shadow of the Colossus and The Last of Us prove that games are art. But you know what came out of the games are art thing? Cinematic Sony games, and it's just kind of like this games trying to be artful.
Forspoken.
It's like what Connor was saying earlier about that guy.
Cyberpunk.
He's clearly like he wants to work in TV and he wants to make TV shows out of games.
He's the guy. I think he's one of the senior producers at like Naughty Dog, and like he's talking about how like the next thing they want to do is going to be like structured like a TV show, and it's like, what do you mean by that? And it's like, it's
The Walking Dead.
It comes off like, you know, they're ashamed of making video games, yet they're in the games industry.
Well, I can
they want to
understand.
make games into.
It's just like
media.
I can understand
Like,
that
at that
statement.
point, just
'cause,
make
like,
it a TV. But at that point, just make a TV show.
There was a
why are you in
conversation we had
games?
during Revelations where I said games shouldn't be afraid to be games like they have been.
Yeah,
and
like
games
it's where it's like barred for having stuff that only makes sense in the context of video
And I understand
games.
that's not those games' fault for that conversation going the wrong direction, because that's just people doing. That's just a misguided like direction, or you know what I mean. Like, games as art is a statement that is true, or like games are their own art form, but that's the thing, is they're their own art form.
Yeah, they're their own medium.
But the problem
and
with that
their
conversation-
standards
Tetris
are
is a
different.
masterpiece. That's a good
is.
example.
Yeah, because it's like a thing with the
Tetris
video
is
game.
the game of all games.
Well, can I put my 2 cents here real quick? Like,
Yeah.
what defines a masterpiece or like games as art is not the same as like the conventional art standards. Like, yes, there can be like games that are very artistic and can mean very simple things, but games as an art form, as like a medium, could be like what makes a game artful or even a masterpiece is how well is it like an effective game to play? Like how effective and like
Did you
clean
miss a
is
red
it
coin?
to play a game like that? No, I've not. Like that's what I feel like defines like a masterpiece of a game. It's a masterpiece of game that does everything it sets out to do. Oh my god, I thread the needle so fucking
like
clean.
Mario 64, the
Wow.
masterpiece of video game.
Honestly,
This
I think
game is a masterpiece of kicking my ass. I'll tell you that much.
Tetris probably is like the perfect example of like what makes Tetris a masterpiece. It's like, well, it's such a pure, it's a
Game.
pure game. Like
Yeah. It's a game at its purest form. There's no lore, no story, no extra details. It is purely like a puzzle strategy sort of game.
and it all
okay,
came
it
out of
just
one guy
depends on,
too.
Yeah,
It's like
Okay,
that's that guy's magnum opus too. Like that's
So,
what he
magnum
would be
opus,
here's a
known
couple
for
things
at
I'll
the
say.
time.
You can appreciate games as art, and I didn't even say that wasn't true. It's just like that was kind of not a derail, but like
I guess it's more like, oh,
whoa.
that's
we're
on
gonna
me.
run out of life
It's just
That's
that
on-
it's just
without
on
even
64.
reaching back.